All right, we can't stop saying it. Welcome back to the very last edition of the program dedicated to doing a recap of 2023 and a brief look into 2024, of course. We start out with a young Nigeria who has a magic touch. In fact, anything he touches turns to gold, literally. The founding partner, PLUMULE Advisory, Business Growth. John, shame on you, I got that right. Business growth professional turned financial advisor and investor with a track record of leading teams to profitable market-winning positions. Our first guest today has an unquenchable passion for accelerating economic growth in Africa. He's a prolific sound engineer by passion. Thanks for doing us a favor this morning and closing the deal, so to speak, on this very special edition of the program, the last one in 2023. Hi, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Helen. Good morning, John. And thanks for having me on the show.
Your smile is infectious.
You know.
Don't contaminate me with your smile.
When you have weathered the storm of 2023,
every reason
the
to
smile has to be broad.
And of course, compliments and thanks for being here. You know,
thank you so
you're
much.
A prolific sound engineer by passion.
Yes,
let's start off on this interesting note, right?
Engineer, passion.
Yeah.
Now, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I can call you Gabriel.
Sure, absolutely.
So while in the employment of the top Nigerian banks, because you've had exposure in that area, you know, revenue grew from 50 million to 400 million monthly under your tutelage or under your leadership. That's what we hear. Wow. How did you achieve this?
I mean, like I always say, right, opportunities abound. It's a function of, do you see it?
Yeah.
When I joined the team, when I joined the bank and took over leadership of the team at the time, the first thing I noticed was the bank had relationships with all the top players within that ecosystem.
Okay.
And I wondered, why didn't we have the business of these customers? So I made inquiries up and down, all through, you know, the management. I asked everybody that mattered, that could have knowledge of the situation. And they all said one thing that was very interesting. They said, at the time we came into the market, that these customers already established relationships with the banks.
Okay.
And so they didn't have any particular reason to switch loyalty, as it were. I said, okay, that is my opportunity. Then I thought to myself, what could I do from where I am to attract these customers' businesses? So I did an analysis of the businesses that I had the relationship, and I was their key contact person. And I realized that the primary thing with these businesses was excellent customer service delivery. They had their business figured out. They just wanted a bank that, we need this, can you do this for us? Done. How you get it done, they don't care. They focus on their business, and then the bank does their own bit. Done. So I thought, okay, if this is what attracts these guys, let me begin to position myself for these big shots. So even when they didn't ask me for it, on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis, I would send account statements. You know, special, maybe end of the month, happy new month, and things like that.
That was way back when?
This was 2021, mid-2021, June, July, thereabouts. And so I just started doing that. And what I was trying to do was to position myself as a go-to person within the bank and to let them understand that this person is consistent. When we don't even need him, he's there for us. So 6 months passed, and then one day I just started talking to them, you know, this is your business, we manage a similar company and we would like to have your business. Can you give it to us? Before you know it, okay, can you do this for us? Can you do that for us? My default answer was yes.
All right. You know, so what I get from your response is that this is, when we say you have that magic touch, like this is a recipe, you know, for success. all round.
Yes.
Not just in that particular place
At
where you
all.
found yourself.
At all. I mean, understand what makes your customer happy, and just position yourself as the person who delivers that thing best. That's all they want.
Okay. What are foreign investors?
Yeah.
So you're talking about that success rate that was achieved within, our environment here. What are foreign investments looking for in brands, that they invest in? And how do brands build investor confidence? Can we go a bit deeper into this?
Very interesting question. So when I work with clients and this question comes up, what I tell them primarily is, when an investor is giving money to you, in the investor's mind, they are buying your business or buying a portion of your business. So to the investor, your business is like a product or service. So ask yourself, is your product the kind of product that an investor or anyone would want to buy into? So I tell them, whenever you're running your business, doing your strategy, structuring your business, do it in such a way that your product, as it is now to the investor, is the best product or solution available on the market amongst the options that the investor would want to put his money into.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much what it is, because the investor gives you money in exchange for equity, which is ownership. That is, I own this thing. So is this the kind of thing that I would like to have as an asset?
Yeah. Okay, so we have a peculiar country and a peculiar economy. Yes. So, reading that someone grew 50 million revenue into 100 million is nearly as magical as Jesus bringing gold coins out of the mouth of a fish. Right. Now, what business growth lessons, can brands learn, from the reason for the season, that's Jesus Christ? This is Christmas season.
I love this question because I also personally take a lot of business, learn a lot of business strategy from the Bible, actually. And in response to your question, I will say this. From that lesson, one thing is, opportunities are in the places where you least expect.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, the opportunity you are looking for is in what you are doing. Because the guys that...
It's right there.
Is right there. The guys that went to get the fish, they were fishermen.
Yes.
If they were carpenters, Jesus would have probably told them to do something else.
Yeah.
If they were farmers, he would have told them to do. So the opportunity you are looking for, that brick, that deal you are looking for, is inside that thing that you are currently doing. So pay attention closely.
So, Helen, you should pay attention to Plus TV.
You of all people should know that I am, and
So the opportunities are here.
they are here. I know that. I even like, if we're talking Christmas and talking the Bible, the Lord says that He will only bless the works of your hands.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that is what you already are,
what
you have in your
exactly
hands.
do.
Show it to me and I'll bless it.
Absolutely.
So if you have nothing, there's nothing to bless.
Nothing to bless.
You're right.
All right. Okay, so do you have a forecast of a silver lining showing up in 2024 for business and brands? Is there something special apart from what we've been talking about?
I mean, first off, I like to be optimistic because there are always opportunities, like I said. And so what I would say on a general note is, let's be optimistic. Even though the general sentiment in the investment space is that there should be a positive uptick, there should be an uptick in fund flow. Because remember, in the last 1 to 2 years, investors have held back. So this time around, the sentiment is that they want to now begin to pump in funds. Because when investors hold money without investing, it's a liability to them.
Yeah.
So they themselves are desperately looking for opportunities. And so they've waited for roughly 24 months, and they've seen how, they already have an idea what the market is likely to look like. So we're expecting to see more, fund flow into the ecosystem, even though maybe cautiously the first set of quarters, first and
Precisely.
second quarters. Yeah.
Because I was going to say that it's not all that glitters
Yes.
that is gold.
Yes.
We also, on our part,
Yeah.
need to look closely and identify the viable investors
Yes.
who are coming out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now, could you just, along those lines, tell us how careful should brands be with regards to the volume and type of foreign investment and partnerships that we are attracting at the moment?
Right. Businesses should be very, very careful. Extra careful when receiving money, from investors. Because number one, you don't want to take money you don't need. It is extremely dangerous to your business. And it is dangerous for two reasons. Number one, the volume of money you take in from investors determines the value investors place on your business. So if your business happens to be overvalued, that means that you are first of all trying to catch up with the value that investors have placed on your business.
Okay.
That's unnecessary pressure already. And then in the investor's mind, he's expecting to see growth from that standpoint. Remember, as a business person, you are not even there yet. So you are trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Let alone add, to say the growth that you need to achieve. So that's a lot of unnecessary pressure. The second thing is when you receive money from investors, you are giving out some measure of ownership of the business. And with ownership comes control. So if you are giving up ownership, you are giving up control. So if you take too much, you give out too much. And then that means the investor is contesting control with the business with you.
Wow.
And so you may, without knowing it, begin to sacrifice your vision for that business and then begin to chase what investors want and not what you want. And then finally, I would say this: always take money from investors who, number one, understands the nature of your business. Don't take money from an investor who is a fintech professional when you are a climate tech. He doesn't understand what you are doing. Or we are an agri-tech. He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Well, because when you're trying to make decisions, business decisions, he doesn't see it the way you see it. So that's a recipe for conflict already.
Wow.
Right? So be very, very mindful of that. And then also take money from investors whose value system align with yours.
So you have to be very cautious.
Yes, extremely cautious.
Okay, so the topic for today is we're looking at foreign investments and investors. Is it better to seek, partnership financially from foreign? Is it better to get foreign aid, or can we get investors back here at home, who would help to make even your business feel better?
There are pros and cons to foreign investments and local investments. The common ones include that, generally speaking, a foreign investor will give you freedom to run your business. But a local investor is not likely to do that.
Eagle eye is there.
Eagle eyes. Both of you are on the same playing field, you're in the same ecosystem, they see everything that, so they're not likely to give you that much freedom. And that's also a function of differences in culture, right? But then again, the con for local investment is that it is easier to access because they understand your business, they understand what you're saying. Now, with foreign investors, it's mostly guesswork for them because they don't have, boots on ground to get the right data, first-hand data. They need to make the right decision. So for them, it's mostly guesswork, sentiments. How do I feel about this? But with local investors, if you have the right parameters in your business, you don't even need to do too much talking because the investors can see that, okay, with these parameters, in the next 1-2 years, this business would have grown times 3, times 5, times 10.
I'm curious there again, when you say parameters, the right parameters, what are they?
So growth rate, for example, what has been your growth rate maybe in the last 1 year, month on month? What is the strength of your team, for example? What kind of experience does your team have? What kind of market do you play? What's the strength of your product or solution vis-a-vis what competitors offer? And things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we don't sound like when you start using words like foreign investment, foreign investor, whatever. What happens to the small and medium scale enterprises? How do they? Yeah, what are they? I mean, so many of them are not. They don't even know what all this foreign investment stuff we're talking about. Bring it home to us. Bring it down.
Okay, so for smaller scale
Yes.
businesses, what I generally recommend is try as much as possible to access local loans. I mean, CBN is very, very supportive in that regard. They have loans for specific industries,
Yeah.
for specific business sizes, and these loans are actually available and quite cheap. I think the maximum rate is 9% flat, 9% interest rate flat, regardless of, and between 5 years to 10 years tenor. So take these loans and then scale up your business to the point where you are attractive to any caliber of investors.
Okay, but you see, there's a problem that most of us face. This issue of interest rates and all of that. It's what drives a lot of people away from taking bank loans and such loans. How do we go around it?
Which is why I mentioned CBN loans.
Okay.
Those are more
instruments and
yes, those are more interest friendly.
Okay.
And because the objective of CBN is to actually encourage growth of this particular business segment. So I mean, sometimes CBN too is flexible depending on the economic situation. For example, during the COVID era, CBN actually suspended interest payments on its loans for a period, and then it also extended the tenor for some of those loans. So I mean, commercial banks are. I mean, you can't tell if you will get flexible terms like that with commercial banks, but CBN is actually very, very considerate.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Finally, if someone were just tuning in, maybe in the last 5 minutes, and we're looking at how do we attract foreign investment and even local ones for our businesses in the new year, what would be your
take away?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say first off, remember that when attracting investors, they perceive or assess your business as a product.
Yeah.
Why would I buy this product and not this product? Always remember that. I mean, it's the same mindset when you are designing your product for your own customers. Apply that same strategies because it's still buying and selling. Also position your market or your solution to the international market. Sell your product online, attract foreign customers, and if you are able to do that, that also sends signals to investors that beyond your local ecosystem, outside of that, customers are willing to buy your solution. It means that your solution speaks to a very, very diverse demographic.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things that investors do for your business is to market your solutions too. So their own network set is different from your own network set. So if your products can speak to a very, very heterogeneous customer group, that means it is likely their own network are likely to patronize your solution too. So yeah.
Okay, this has been some kind of masterclass.
You have a business academy of some sort.
Some masterclass,
Working on
free
that.
of charge.
Working on that.
Just
for the
working.
new year.
Thank you so much. I believe strongly that good information and good knowledge with the zeal to follow through a lot of the things that you've put, you've told us about, will give us the results that we desire. Thanks again. Thanks for taking us through that topic. How brands have and can continue to attract foreign investments in the new year. That's what we've been trying to track.
Yes.
And we got there. Thank you for coming.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Gabriel. From me, it's a much happier and better new year ahead. And I want to wish us all the best.
And we wish you the best too.
Yeah. So many young Nigerians stood in 2023, doing amazing things in very unusual professions. Chisobam will be speaking with one of such on the culture conversation later on. So right now, another break is appropriate to help us get ready for the conversation I'm so anxiously waiting for. Our next guest is Toyin Taiwojo, a legal practitioner and child safety advocate. Join us after.